We got this story from Timcast.com. McCarthy removes Schiff, Swalwell from House Intelligence Committee. Quote, I'm committed to returning the House Intelligence Committee to one of genuine honesty and credibility. And Mike Cernovich posted this video of Kevin McCarthy just absolutely wrecking the media, explaining how Swalwell, there's an FBI briefing on his association with a Chinese spy, but more importantly, how Adam Schiff lied about Russia, how Adam Schiff lied about the Hunter Biden laptop, all for political gain. And that is why he is not going to be allowed to get access to intelligence information in these committees. So Mike Cernovich says, start apologizing because he's going, he's bringing the heat. So I'll respect that to a certain degree and say, okay, I expected McCarthy to do something. Wasn't sure how far he'd go. Let's see how far he does go. But we were just talking about the manipulators, the cult, how they lie. And the story with Adam Schiff is fascinating. I pulled up an article from February of 2018 where he said, we have evidence that Donald Trump colluded with Russia. It's just not publicly available yet. And so these people just say, okay, that proves it.
Yeah.
And as if he says that, turns out, guess what? No, they didn't have any evidence.
What does it say? A lie makes it halfway around the earth before the truth gets its shoes on.
Yeah,
that's right.
Churchill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second part of that I added on was, but when the truth gets its shoes on, oh boy, it gets to running.
That's a good one.
It gets to running.
I mean, Adam Schiff.
Now with the internet, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like now you feel lied to. Now you feel betrayed. So, you empower these people to go out and want to spread the truth. Kufi on tight, loyal to the foil. That's what happens. But it's his business. When you talk about media, you're talking about business. They're not really worried about the welfare of people. They're not concerned with what type of radioactive atmosphere they could create or tension.
They just want to be first.
They just want the clicks.
They just want to be first.
Yeah, they want to be first. They want the clicks. I follow this one account. It tells you every time, I think it's the New York Times changes their headlines or something like that. It's a bot.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
And I just, it makes amendments. And you see it, and you can see how they're optimizing your headlines for a higher click-through rate.
It's called A/B testing.
Yeah.
So what these news organizations do, they've always done this. Back before the internet, the New York Times and other newspapers, I think the New York Times, but newspapers would send out two different front pages. If Donald Trump was working on, say, a peace deal with North Korea, the newspapers in New York would say, Trump sparks outrage by appeasing North Korean dictator. Mm-hmm. And then when the paper gets sent to a rural area, conservative area, it would say, Trump receives high praise from conservatives over peace negotiations with North Korea. Because it's all about selling the paper. Same story, different angle, different framing. What they started doing on the internet, they called A/B testing, where it's not even about region necessarily anymore. It kind of is. If you live in New York, when you see the article and click it, the headline will say, Donald Trump does backflip. You live in Omaha, you click it, Donald Trump does front flip. And they change them in real time because now they see the fluctuations and they're like, we put out the same story. We put it out with 5 headlines. Here's the rate of click-through per headline. This one did the best. Then they'll start moving and changing the headlines in other areas. It's crazy, isn't it? And it's framing too, which changes your understanding of the story.
Right.
So Timcast.com ran a story a long time ago that said Joe Biden criticized for this thing. And I immediately said to the news team, we should not do stories that are just about someone criticizing Joe Biden. The story should be about what he did, and then we can include reactions. So Joe Biden does backflip, not Joe Biden slammed by conservatives, because of course he's going to get slammed by conservatives. No. Tell us what's happening, then include the commentary. Because what they'll do is, you see a story that says Trump under fire for doing backflip, and the average person just hears Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump negative. Everyone's mad. When in reality, it could be under fire from 2 people.
Yeah.
So, but I'll stress this too.
Don't matter.
if you're talking opinion pieces, I got no qualms and no beef because I do exactly that.
Yeah.
I do my opinion segments and I'll put Trump slammed for this reason because I'm quite literally opining on my thoughts. I'll be like, Joe Biden roasted for doing this thing, and I'll say this is why people are angry because I'm doing opinion commentary.
Right.
But for our straight news stuff, I'm like, Just tell us what happened first.
Well, I don't think majority of people are even reading that. Like, they're not clicking through and seeing the category opinion op-ed. They're not seeing that. They're just seeing the headline. So they're just taking, oh, this is news, and it comes from a reputable source or reputable.
Back to the context of the McCarthy stuff, Adam Schiff was using his position on the Intelligence Committee to claim evidence existed that was, confidential, that the American people couldn't see.
Yeah.
And then they just had to trust him for it.
Yeah.
And he was lying. So then you get journalists who write, confirmed, evidence exists, Trump colluded with Russia. And it's like, bro, some guy just said that. Like, you saw the Damar Hamlin thing, right?
Right.
He's at the Bills game, but he's wearing a hood and a mask and glasses, and he's waving his arms, and you can't see his face.
Yeah. The Hollow Man.
Is right. Hollow Man. Yeah. TMZ says, we called and confirmed because someone told us it was actually him. I'm like...
But they don't even say who they called.
Right. You didn't confirm anything.
Did you call his mom? You call his agent? You call the actual team? I mean, this is the
It's
escalation.
a body double, right?
Right. That's what I think.
that.
But it's an escalation into making it all seem like, oh, it's common knowledge. It's common knowledge Trump colluded with Russia. And then you can stop questioning it. Please don't ask us where our sources are.
Yeah.
And
then
that's creepy.
When Mueller came out and was like, nah, what did Schiff and the rest of the Democrats start saying? No. He said Trump's not exonerated.
Yes.
And I'm like, because you don't exonerate people. You have to prove he did it, not that he didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they're
Schiff
just
was
lying,
like
man.
that. Schiff's been doing that for as long as I've been following everything. Remember the bombshell witness that they had to keep in witness protection for about Trump? Nobody ever found out who that was.
Yeah.
And they let him do that. He always had some kind of bombshell or some kind of smoking gun that he could never deliver on. But the mainstream media backed him.
Yep.
You don't have
they're doing it now. The Washington Post wrote an article defending Swalwell and defending Adam Schiff. And I'll give Swalwell credit, especially because, we had Matt Gaetz on. He made up this point. He was like, look, the Fong Fong thing was well before he was in Congress. So, I have questions about that. But I'll say this. If Kevin McCarthy says the FBI briefed him saying we have concerns about this, then I'll be like, I don't trust the FBI, but if they're going after a Democrat, there must be something there.
What year was this?
The briefing?
No, when he said he had
Fong
this
Fong
evidence.
thing?
Yeah.
Wait.
When he said it had evidence with Russian collusion. What year was
Oh,
this?
2018.
2018,
I mean, but come on, Adam Schiff said it every single
single
day,
time.
like
Yeah,
nonstop.
The entire time that Trump was in office, they were doing it. So it doesn't really
Well,
matter
he
to
was
me.
clever too. He was clever. He'd say things like, he was I pulled up one interview from CBS, and they're like, "Is there direct evidence of collusion?" And he would go, "We have conversations that have been released to the public between Donald Trump and Russian banks and the Moscow deals. That is direct evidence of collusion." And it's like, you see the game he's playing is he's saying a thing exists that's already in the public, therefore it's evidence and it's true, but you don't know the thing he's actually referencing.
Let
So
me
he can
set
put the idea out
let me
there.
set this on fire. You ready? Keep an eye on the chat. Schiff did us a favor. You gotta let that one sit. Let the chat.
Okay.
Oh my God, what is he talking about?
Build suspense. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now everybody's angry. Now what's the counter?
Trump didn't win. Imagine what this country would look like if Trump ran and won. I'm gonna tell you right now, this country, if Trump would have won, would have been on fire, on flames. Antifa would have been everywhere, just setting things on. That's what I feel. I feel like a whole bunch of, you remember the summer of Black Lives Matter?
Summer of Love.
The summer of love? Oh man, we'd have had 4 years of love.
It's tough. It's tough because there's some truth there that we don't want violence, we don't want destruction, and we don't want death.
No, we don't.
But at the same time, does that mean you let corrupt people take over and run this country into the ground? So you know what we're dealing with now? It was the hard fall or the slow fall. And the question is, do you rip the Band-Aid off as fast as you can, get it over with?
Yeah.
Or do you slowly peel it, pulling every little hair along with it?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
And the question is this. If Donald Trump won and Antifa on the far left did go nuts, would Trump have then, with his final term, gone in and finally started arresting these people, charging them in mass, and shutting it all down? I actually think that probably would happen. I think Donald Trump was scared to go after Antifa on the far left in the summer of love because he was going to run for re-election. And he was like, they will call me a fascist. It will be weaponized against me. So the strategy I think Trump took was, hey, man, you live in Portland. You voted for this. They can deal with it. But in term 2, he's like, I'm not getting reelected again. Send in the army, National Guard, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you go hard. You go hard your last term. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got a point.
Do you think that he had that in him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think he had it in him. You know what I mean? I think he had it in him. If not, he had a hell of a poker face. He'd have bluffed the hell. He'd have bluffed it.
Yeah.
He'd have bluffed the heck out of it, and they would have been scared. They'd have backed right up. I guarantee it.
I wonder. I question, because of the way that he behaved, I question whether he actually did have the resolve that his bolstering seemed to.
base?
Yeah, because he wasn't an authoritarian the way that a lot of people said that he was. There was a lot of times where there were a lot of people saying, "Look, you should send the National Guard in," especially when there were the people were rioting in Portland at the courthouse and stuff. Was that Seattle or Portland?
I think
It was Portland.
Yeah, it was Portland. There's, and I think that he was nervous about actually doing that. I think that after the issues in D.C., when he had to be run to the bunker, and the way that the press and media responded to an actual attack on the White House, the way they responded,
They were trying to Olympus's fall in the White House.
yeah, I think that he was concerned with using too much force, because he wasn't going to get any. He knew he was going to get crushed, and Donald Trump wanted to be liked more than anything in the world.
This is the problem that Trump had. He's not Machiavellian, When the 5/29 insurrection happened, Antifa shows up at the White House and tried to Olympus.
Olympus has fallen.
Olympus has fallen. Yeah. The Gerard Butler movie.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Great movie.
When so I say this all the time. If Donald Trump ordered the law enforcement to stand down, and Antifa then ripped the fences down and torched St. John's Church, it would have shifted the narrative in this country 180 degrees. He would be in the bunker. He would come out the next day to a destroyed historic American church, the White House being rampaged by far left extremists, and he would say, the attack on this country by the far left extremists is unprecedented. Not since the 1890s or whatever, 1880s, has the White House been attacked before. Has a historical church been set aflame? He could say something like, the fear that we had as good stewards of the Constitution was that to send out law enforcement to shut down what had begun as a peaceful protest would be an affront to the rights of every American citizen. If only we had known the violence, the hatred, and the danger that was far left extremism, then we would have taken action. But we believed in the American people and the right to protest, and unfortunately, the extremists on the far left and Antifa exploited that to destroy iconic American, imagery.
And you don't think the leftist media would have spun that?
I think
Look,
You can't spin the image.
you can't spin St. John's Church torched and razed to the ground by the far left. The problem is, how would you spin it?
It's the left. I'll put nothing past them. They be like, he deserved that, and the church is bad, and
I feel
the
like that
Christians
is-
are white supremacists.
And you're right, yes. But think about the suburban housewife
Yeah.
who's seeing smoldering ruins from far left extremists.
Is that the target demo you're saying of this
Yes.
speech?
Well, look
Okay.
at-
We're not trying to convince the far left and the corporate press to
Right.
vote for anybody.
Yeah.
See, but the thing is, Donald Trump is not Machiavellian. He said, "Hey, they're trying to burn a church down. Stop them, quick!" And they did.
But would that mom get the Donald Trump speech, or would she get a contorted version of that from far leftist media in her home?
Look. You're not wrong about that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about weight, right?
Okay.
When far left extremists set fire to St. John's Church, and they did,
Yeah.
set fire to a guard post, the White House, and tore down the barricades, injuring I think like 100 plus law
100,
enforcement
yeah.
officers.
Yeah.
Trump shut it down. And the narrative from the media was Trump attacks peaceful
So
protesters.
you're saying he should have let it go, let it happen.
I'm not saying he should have.
You're saying if he did.
The Machiavellian, manipulative, evil way to deal with it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Trump's not an evil guy.
Right.
Trump said, hey, they're trying to hurt people and burn this thing down. We better stop them.
Yeah.
The media spun that against him.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is wait. If Antifa goes and Antifa set fire to St. John's Church and the media defended them.
Yeah.
Now, what would happen if the church was razed to the ground? It would be a lot harder to defend them.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that whole, mostly peaceful, where everything burning in the background, hit a lot harder when you got a historic church in rubble.
In rubble,
versus a church that almost went down and you got Trump in front of it holding his Bible.
Right.
Where they spun it like, oh, he had his Bible upside down.
I'll tell you what they
Right,
do.
right,
The left would come out and say the failure of Donald Trump's administration to stop the violence is shocking. How could he let this happen? And then Trump could come out and say, you're absolutely right. We should have gone harder and used the military and the National Guard to stop the violent far left extremists, but we didn't want to hurt our fellow Americans. But I confess I was wrong to try and be peaceful and maintain the peace. It backfired.
Tim, you'd make a good press secretary.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Trump needs, he should have had you writing his speeches, bro.
Oh, my
Michael
God.
Malice will make a good press secretary.
Can we do IRL live from the White House press room every night if Trump gets reelected?
You know, this is the crazy thing to me, because, like, you look at January 6th.
Yeah.
January 6th is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Where were the police?
Right.
Why is there a video of a guy walking up to cops saying, please stop them? Look, he's pointing to the people walking. What are you doing? And the cops are like, nope. Why are there cops on video opening the doors and letting people in? And then the Democrats saying, oh no, we were attacked. It's an insurrection. And they ran that narrative for a year, and they just started an investigation. They impeached Trump because of it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Trump didn't have the moral failings to do what Democrats did.
Yeah, because January, that day in January, they didn't. So he allegedly asked for 10,000 troops, National Guardsmen to be there.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
Nancy
Pelosi said, no, thank you. We don't want the optics of that.
Yeah.
I think she didn't want the optics of that because she got the optics that she wanted.
Yep.
Yeah,
Violent
yeah,
far-right
yeah.
extremists.
She did
And then
exactly
the
what he
DOJ.
said.
And think about what would have happened if, I tell you, if on 5/29, Donald Trump was rushed into the bunker under the White House, he was. And if he said, listen, the last thing we want is a dead protester on the news, stand down. And then the protesters ransacked everything.
Yeah.
Trump would have been reelected, guaranteed. And then he would have sent the DOJ after all of the far left, just like they're doing to the January 6 people.
Yeah.
He'd be going after and rooting out far left cult members and violent extremists. Instead, what do we get? Right now in Atlanta, far left extremists are from out of state, crossing state lines with semi-automatic weapons, occupying a forest, shooting cops and putting them in the hospital, calling for the assassination of police, and then ransacking downtown Atlanta.
So
burning people's homes and torching a guy's vehicle. That's all happening. It's not stopping. It keeps going. And we were surprised. Oh, wait, you mean there was an autonomous zone in Georgia for the past 2 years or whatever? And they're burning houses to the ground and vehicles, and one guy shot a cop? Yep, and the media is protecting them.
So I'm just over here doing a tally. I'm counting up all the grifters that we going to nominate for the grifties. Go to grifties.com, nominate your favorite grifter. I see, what's the dude's name from Pfizer that was on the date, grifting, trying to grift his job on a date?
Grifton?
Jordan
Tristan.
Walker?
Tristan.
Jordan Tristan Walker.
Jordan Tristan Walker? Yeah, we got to nominate him. Somebody go to grifters.com. We got to nominate him. What's this guy's name? Schiff?
Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff. We got to nominate him.
Oh yeah, he's a shoo-in for
He was
getting in
nominated for 2020.
He was. Yes, he was.
He's up there, man.
2021.
That's a good one.
2021.
2021.
He's a reoccurring
Yes.
nominee.
Yeah,
He deserves
grifties.com.
it. He's earned it.
Because look, a lot of people will say, like, they'll be like, for the Grifty, it's got to be, Steven Crowder or Cenk Uygur or Tim Pool. It's like, well, I get that you don't like the commentators, but Adam Schiff, as a politician, that's a good one.
A lot of people mix up the
Nancy Pelosi.
A lot of people mix up the
I would say
meaning of the
AOC.
word grift though, because like a lot of people think that like they just someone they don't like is a grifter. It's like they'll use that term interchangeably, and like grifting is a
It's a very
thing.
loose term. We use it. There's a if you watch the Grifties tomorrow, grifties.com, you'll see it. We have a different definition that we like to go with, but what we like to say is loosely, there's a light side and there's a dark side. If somebody's taken away from the grift, and somebody like, we be grifting. We grifting right now. We grifted off of Tim Pool. Shout out to Timcast IRL. Everybody's grifting to some level. It's just more like, what are your intentions?
Yeah.
What's your end game? What are you doing with this all? Are you trying to push inoculations on people, or are you trying to free minds, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, everybody's got a grift, right? But you're right. Sometimes people use the word, you just say, I don't like this person, he's a grifter. And it's just like,
But it sort of implies, like, conning someone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Selling them snake oil.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's always been my understanding of it. Is someone that it's like a sellout.
An opportunist. Like they see
Opportunist.
something, they jump on the message, right? Like they don't know if they believe. I mean, my prime example, this is AOC when she took those pictures crying at the border.
Now,
and
that's
they
the
find
dark-
out it's
that's the-
wrong.
that was
grifting.
It was like,
Oh,
that,
that
I mean,
was some
there's
good grifting.
That's the
I
dark
wish it
side.
had been nominated.
That's the dark side of the gift.
Yo,
It's
that's
primetime grifting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that was
you guys
phenomenal.
You got to do like little montage videos where it's like the top 10 and it's like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and it shows like a slow moving photo and then it shows her like crying at the border and it shows her on the phone going, "Where is she? Where is she?" And it's playing like, orchestral music. You got to do it like they do the Academy
When
Awards.
she was doing the Janteenth reenactment, we call it Jan 6 Janteenth.
Yeah, we call it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, she made that story up. It was fake.
Yeah.
Now that is grifting right
some
there. I'm
grifty grift.
impressed. The
question is-
you got to be a special kind of look. I would not want to play AOC in poker because she. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I can see through her bluffs, but she would do really, really well. Bald face lie when she's like, they come to my door and bang, and I'm hiding in the bathroom, and I hear, "Where is she?" It's like, yo, that happened an hour before the building was even breached. So before anybody entered the building, someone knocks on her door and she's hiding in the bathroom. Get out of here! She made that up.
You know what?
It was a cop looking for her to evacuate the building. She made it up.
You know what she'd be great for? James O'Keefe's spy program.
Oh man! But she's. You know why I say she'd be good at poker is because she can lie to your face without twitching. With no tell, you'd be like,
because she feels like her lies are justified. I've never met her, I don't know, but like there are some people who feel as though like they are entitled to lie, like their means are so honorable that they don't feel remorse. Like people who flinch when they lie or give some tell, like they feel on some level guilty about it.
I don't think they believe that they're lying.
Well,
that's true too.
I really think that there are people that there are people like
Just narcissistic.
it's Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, right? It's like, yeah, I might be lying, but I'm doing it for good.
yeah, it's what is the goal that's in mind,
The end
then
justifies the means.
What's that meme where they have the woman crying with the snot bubbles coming out? Said women can lie this hard. Women can cry this hard and still be lying.
They commit. I don't know what to tell you.
It is what it is.
I mean, think about that with like Nancy Pelosi. Like, if it's true that she had the chance to have 10,000 National Guards members at the Capitol that day, and she was like, "No, we don't need them." Like, I was at opening arguments for Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys trial, and the federal government was like, "Yeah, we have FBI informants who are going to testify," and you hear all the defense attorneys be like, "Okay, they should explain why there was no law enforcement. If you think this was a planned insurrection, where was everybody? If you guys knew, you didn't defend anything." I mean, it just becomes to the point where you're like, is Nancy Pelosi grifting for this long-term play at the White House? Like it's, I think this is what puts Americans off of politics, right? You want to believe in the honorable, but you're shown time and time again that people operate for their own good. Like even the Pfizer video, the guy is saying like, well, we could make money off of this. This could be good for us.
But then what
Not
they'll
good
do
for
is turn
everyone
around
else.
and tell you that Donald Trump did a passenger 57 in the back of the limo trying to take out some Secret Service agents.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, let me get my grift on because I'm getting news right now that my camera's a little dark. Somebody said my light isn't right, so I just want to chat. Help me out. Does Tim Pool have racist cameras? Does he have those? What is it? Remember HP? Like their cameras wouldn't focus on black people and whatnot.
Is that true? Oh, they did that. They did
The
that.
lighting.
There was like a campaign they did where they were like, our new cameras for all skin tones, and it showed a bunch of black people.
Yeah,
I didn't know
So I just
that.
want to make sure. Chat. Let
Serge know.
Let Serge know if my camera's good. I gotta look good, man. Grifty's tomorrow.
Well,
man.
you're wearing a black shirt with a black backdrop.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You always got to bring the race grift up, man. Cut it out.
Listen, I'm a black supremacist, damn it.
One time we were doing a show and Tim was like, "You're too white. You're throwing off the color balance in here." I was like, I don't know. So maybe it's just like any extreme part of the skin tone.
Well, Uncle Hotep would like that. Uncle Hotep like white man.
Who doesn't?
I don't know.
Nobody on the planet, just for the record, nobody on the planet hates black people more than Uncle Hotep. So I
Oh
just wanna
my gosh.
let
Is that
y'all know
true?
he's here.
Hi, Uncle Tip.
The black white supremacist.
I've been following Uncle Hotep for a lot of years, and
Have you?
Oh yeah. I followed him before I followed you. I followed him.
Yeah, you know what's up, man.
That's terrible.
I put
How?
you on.
I'm
You
sorry.
keep
How'd you find him? That's the question.
I don't know. I followed him on YouTube. I watch his YouTube channel, and but I'm not sure exactly how.
Why do you like this guy?
Because he makes me laugh. He's funny.
I'm an honest, down to earth. I'm a black man from Exeter, Pennsylvania. Come on, man.
He knew,
He's just
he
funny.
knew he was going to get that up. That was a layup right there. Just a black man from Exeter, Pennsylvania. He's a grifter. That's what he is.
Yo, Tim, your imitations are spot on, man. Did you practice that, man?
Which one? Which imitation?
Both of them are pretty good, man.
Which one?
What did he do? He did Trump and he did
Fauci.
The
Fauci's
Trump was
great.
not a real impersonation. That was
You had it for the first couple sentences you had it.
Yeah.
Trump's actually, I can't do Trump at all. So I just do like a little bit of the, like he talks in a very weird way. The Fauci thing is, I'm actually trying to do cartoon versions of them.
Oh, okay.
So like the Fauci voice that I do is intended to be an over the top, exaggerated version of Fauci. You don't need to be wearing 2 masks. So it's like, it's gruffer. It's, and then Nancy Pelosi, when I do her, I overemphasize her teeth. She talks like this. Donald Trump is the worst man in this country. That's my Nancy Pelosi. So it's like it's kind of cartoony.
I feel like you
I'm-
need more
I'm
lip
ins-
smacking than Pelosi. Like the
Just kind of
dentures are trying to
insulting.
run away.
lip smacking.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't actually practice any of these things. I bet if I actually tried, like actually practiced, I probably could do a bunch of really good ones. but,
Absolutely.
But I was the voice of Fauci for Freedom Tunes for a while. That was fun.
Oh, that's dope.
But then when Fauci was out of the news, Seamus didn't need me on the show anymore, so I
He
just
got
The
fired.
classic grifter, Seamus.
yeah.
Just kidding.
We did a bit where you guys saw the story that said if you're not vaccinated, you're more likely to get in a car accident. Do you see that one? Let's talk about grifting, man. But so Seamus did a bit where Fauci's snipping car brakes. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.